Right, it's done. First-hand knowledge of the truth of facts, record the parties, Department of Works and Pensions Limited, United Kingdom, the unlawful deliberate targeting evidence of via contracted Capita Business Services Limited, head office in London. The head office of Department of Works and Pensions Limited is a corporation based in Clacton House, London, head office, UK. So-called International Women's Day, hey? This is to empower oneself. It's very difficult to do this, all the bloody things going on and targeting the vulnerable disabled people, United Kingdom, yet again. So, let's see then, bloody next move, eh? Bloody everything's falling apart in this place. Okay, so basically, nothing will thinking work. This is deliberate. I found as I said, late, early hours of the morning, and I'm physically unable to do what I need to do again today. So an email went off for me 5:30 today to a certain so-called remote offer of a certain service. I won't say who individual it was or what the so-called advice service, because I found previous how many emails since October 2018 to date. There's countless emails, and they've been negligent and dishonoured to not respond to the offer home visit, especially for those highly complex and housebound and complexity, illness and disabilities. And this is deliberate because I found the emails, and one of them in conjunction also with a former civil servant in a job role. Now, the roller coaster ride of all that is added into this unlawful with thousands of others, I presume, in similar situations, and loved ones and family members. Now, I've had an offer by a family member. I don't know if that's going to result in anything, because they tried their best until they've been informed not to help me, so you get isolated. Now, anyway, that email was recopied into 4 individuals, 2 representing private corporations, and 1 is a public funded limited company, head office across from me. And yeah, this is going around in circles. I cannot tell you how many emails conditions sent under us, and the factual evidence this time I'd included, which is national statutory law, as well as evidence of who has made, in their capacity as civil servants, decisions about myself, and in what basis and what first-hand knowledge and what evidence. What evidence? Because I've had nothing to clarify, basically, a first-hand evidence that if you have all these illnesses, disabilities, which I unfortunately do, is evidential fact on the computerized systems as well, and there's certain data sharing going on, and I've already limited data sharing, gosh, since beginning of back in June now, 2018. I found clauses in PIP regulation statutory law, that's known in the United Kingdom as Person Independence Statutory Regulations, and there's certain sections, if you have certain conditions, that you have, there's a lawful grounds to have an exemption on a face-to-face medical on person independence, and that should have been flagged up by these PIP assessors, and who never did. In that particular email that got resent to an individual earlier, included that particular 2 Capita Business Services Limited, their call centre employees, and 1 was a nurse assessor, her job role, allegedly. And then there was another email claiming the week after all their computers had gone down. Hold on. We're dealing with Capita PLC, international business company, IT company. They have a contract with NHS England Limited to do and hold individuals private medical records. Yeah. And yet they also have a contract on the subdivision company set up known as I said, Capita Business Services Limited, head office in Victoria, head office in London, United Kingdom, who are using their software computer systems via Darlington head office, well, one of the call centres. And that's a problem. They do not scan, and that's what's happening. They do not scan individuals' factual evidence that you may send off, or you may have a medical practitioner send off by your medical practice, and it does not get used or even looked at. And this is where there's a postcode lottery and pure luck if you do get the lawful due process and treated equally. Now, that's also in line with statutory law. Equality Act 2010. You can even look at that for your particular situation if you care to know. And disability discrimination statutory act. I do believe that still exists, but there is Magna Carta, contract law, common law. I still believe that still exists at the moment. Could be another story by the end of the month with other so-called national statutory law reorganisation, and a lot of good people are trying to get information out about all that. So I'm just sticking to the facts in hand. I can only concentrate on one thing at a time, so it is difficult to do two things today. But it's all about the knowledge I have skills of previously, trying to neutralise what I have. But when you have interference of your mail, your post, and you're cold calling, and you're targeted unlawfully, and you're blocked from goods and services unlawfully, it is constantly going bloody on. And there's a reason where they're trying to cause additional alarm distress and other factors on top. Now, by the way, anybody who is unfortunately in a vulnerable situation, you're limited access to goods and services deliberately because they allege cutbacks, whatever it might be, private corporations, i.e. limited companies, without the full disclosure, terms, conditions, how they're going to meet your needs and how they're going to offer goods and services. So it might be relevant to get someone you may know to get a document put up on your window or door to warn any unlawful trespass to your private dwelling. And if you don't know anything about, you think your house, your flat, where you live, in bricks and mortar, it's a property. In statutory law, that's what they use, but in contract law and common law, no, it's a private dwelling. I've found that out a while ago. So if you're intimidated, if you're unlawful, being trespassed against unlawfully, and if you don't research the evidence of that from years ago, I used to study, not in that position right now, you're governed by consent. Without the evidence of that one has willingly and lawfully given full disclosure, well, not disclosure, but consent. Now be careful, this can be done verbally. That can be done by the trickery of their legalese wording, which is constantly happening nowadays. And especially onto the vulnerable. They just want people to be ignorant of their rights. So it's up to the public to be educated. And we're not just talking about ordinary men and women and just doing a job. We're talking about the CEOs, the board directors, and then directors of departments who are preventing unlawfully individuals that really do need to offer goods and services and full disclosure and terms and conditions to meet their individual situation they might be having, and to have a better outcome. So all this statutory law, all these buzzwords, outcomes, choices, equality, disability competence and employment status, all this is load of, well, it means well in words, but yet the words are just that. It's actions what counts, and it's honour is individuals being honourable in their job capacity representing that corporation. So whether it's a private corporation or public funded. So being so-called, what are they boasting about? International Women's Day. What has that got to do with anything when there is no equality? There isn't any equality. And that has been dwindling down by design. So I have first-hand knowledge of all of this. I can back up with facts of evidence, and I do not ever consent to cold calling at my private dwelling. So get that message clear, you certain individuals. I know what you're doing behind the scenes. I have evidence of fact. Anyway, anyone who can back up on what they are lawfully being led down a garden path, the presumption that you're ever going to get blinking justice out for civil servants, or as well, I should say, by the illusion there's any such thing as justice in the United Kingdom, whether it's within the statutory law system or common law or contract law, you need to absolutely be armed up with knowledge. Now, when your disability is affect you and you're extremely unwell, you don't have the means or physical health to be able to do things you're used to. That's just where they deliberately try and push you down and down and down, so you don't have the strength and you're given to their system. That's what they want. You are empowered within your mind, body and soul. It's just knowing that we are not dealing with just ordinary men and women just doing their job. We're dealing with advanced system that is just computerized, that does only think one picks in their tick box exercises. Their tick box. Oh, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. Well, excuse me, without your implied consent, individuals cannot do anything. They do not have any authority. Please, anybody out there, research or download or find, if you can still do that, Black's Law Dictionary, not any standardized Collins Dictionary, English Dictionary. It is a separate factual meaning and definitions of words. And once you get learning and educated, it's not to do with Latin, because all of this links back to the Vatican in history, in key words. I'm not expert in English, so when you learn the definitions of words, or the only skills you have is to watch videos about certain subjects one thing at a time while you're trying to recuperate in bed and you're so ill. It is so important to be empowered. Now, be extremely aware. If you have an extremely bad day, it's obvious you're not able to do emails or let alone phone calls, let alone paperwork. And it's finding the strength in a good day to do the things you may need to try and do, because there isn't any independent advocacy out there that gives the monkeys. They've got their own agendas, and the national so-called certain advice service, well, company, they have their subsections in every town and city, United Kingdom, England, I should say. I don't know about Wales or Scotland. But individuals mean well, but you've got waiting list. And then there's no guarantee of getting anywhere because they have a contract. And it's worth a lot of public funds. It's not impartial. So yes, this is why a lot of individuals and I, through Ministry of Justice Limited, yes, it's a corporation, a company, by their tribunal service, and still you got individuals there being paid, whether or not they got experience or training in disability needs or your particular medical conditions. No, they're just looking at paperwork. And don't forget who's got the experience or skills or health to even put your paperwork together, you know? And especially when you're going through so much. What about those who are in hospital and having recuperation from operations? Where's the help there? This is what gets me. There isn't I mean, now, there used to be years ago the old system where you used to have so-called welfare rights offer services, and they used to offer home visit. Well, you haven't got, if there's a deadline to meet in the requirements of such and such and such, whatever the subject may be, in the public sector of services, right? When you find out about where these public funds come from, monetary system comes from, they deliberately, absolutely want disabled people. I don't know how it works with the elderly or families of children, but they definitely recognise disabled people, definitely want you to absolutely be desolate. And then the babysitting comes in by the state to put you into their private arrangements by the care homes. Most probably. There's a lot of individuals I'm observing by evidence. That's what's happening to. By comments and certain other formats I'm observing. And there's certain things I know about my area that's going on, but I won't be posting and saying much about that at this stage. But anyway, I'm just come on to say that I've done what I said I'll do yesterday, and then you get another individual using another situation, trying to cold call on my own when I'm ill in bed, bang on my bloody door without my consent, say I'll get an individual personal friend to put a notice on the door to say, do not ever knock on one's private dwelling, and if there's any requirement, put it in writing, in normal post or an email only. And then one consider what the requirement, the lawful requirement, or the grounds for such an offer, whether it's public funded. Always have, if you can, just keep offline journal, and it does help to, whether it's for your personal health disabilities and helps your illness or disabilities, how it affects you daily, hourly, or whether you have an app that's got some chill out music, meditation, or something that helps take your mind off things. So anyway, be aware of those thousands of people that do try and share their knowledge. They do blogs, websites, videos. There's a lot of information out there, but be aware when you do not have the strength physically in one's health, it is extremely limited. You're limited what you can do. And it's not that you don't want to, it's just you're absolutely impossible to do. And there isn't. 2019, you would have thought with nowadays there would be services out there, wouldn't you? But no, everything's cut to the bone. Where is all this public funds gone? Yeah? Is it gone off to the offshore tax haven somewhere? Who knows? But I am not going and let other people go into all that. But I just have to focus on the little things at the moment. And I found the evidence. I found who this former public servant, civil servant, what she did, who she spoke to, the time, well, not actually the times, but the dates, the evidence. I knew all along. I never, ever, ever, well, put it this way, unless you do a rebuttal, an presumption that somebody has assumed that one didn't do whatever the subject may be, you need to put in rebuttal of fact, of evidence, of fact. Otherwise it stands, whether it's in contract law, common law, it stands as true. And that goes on a computer system somewhere, so your character will be assassinated, you'll be discredited, you'll be implied that somebody doesn't engage, and it be implied that anything could be implied and you wouldn't know what's held about you. Especially when they delay get back to you or be access your lawful rights to your data protection, and then you don't have the funds to access your data. So whether that's medical, whether that's care, whether that's whatever subject it may be. You don't know what's being said about you and who's behind it. And if there's a grudge or somebody just, you get cross wires by and you get incompetent public servant, especially in a management role, that don't give a monkeys. They're just looking at so many caseloads and they've got people breathing down the neck to rush things through, and that's dangerous. Extremely dangerous to keep you hanging on for months and months and not knowing if you're going to get an offer of goods and services, and they're putting your life at risk. Especially if you have a situation where certain individuals are struggling to care for you, and you've alerted certain individuals in their professional job role that they have a duty of care to get their act together and get their finger out and to make sure that you are included in all decision making, and with the assistance of an independent advocate. And, well, basically, I proved all that. They've failed in duty of care. So there's nothing else you can do. God forbid, because if you do the paper trail by email, for example, or if you do paper trail, whatever, God forbid, if anything happens to yourself and you blurted, obviously, you saved it on, or somebody saved it for you on offline as well, on computer drive or something, and there's evidence, God forbid, when it happens to you. Hold on. That the civil servants have failed you in duty of care. I don't know if anyone's ever going to be held accountable, because you have former public civil servants that do whistleblow in statutory law and they don't get anywhere. They just get harassed. They just get targeted to be shut up. And yet you do get good peace officers out there that know what goes on, the corruption, bigger picture of things like that. What happened to me recently, unlawfully targeting me for what? You see, good information out there, good people, their videos and so forth, of various subjects, whatever you might be going through, just take it one thing at a time. That's all I'm doing now. Taking a rest and just be safe. Be aware of your surroundings. Keep yourself. Important to keep balanced mind, body and soul. It is so important. And I hope in goodness that my certain private friend can get my new channel set up at the end of the week. And it's not going to be naming and shaming. I don't do that. I'm just going to be honourable and lawful and trying to move forward. If you can't move forward because other services are blocked unlawfully, you're at a stalemate. The situation's stalemate. So the skills, the information I've been taught many, many moons ago, and the little things I can do, which is very little at the moment, is being planned for what's about to happen at the end of the month. I hope and goodness that people with common sense and dignity and decency will just stop getting off the high bloody horse and trying to turn people against each other and just come together, because we're all from walks of life, different walks of life, different religion, different financial situation, different abilities on this earth, especially in the United Kingdom. There's no need for a divide. There's bloody systems out there that deliberately just want to create all this division. There's no need. We're all trying to get by. And there are good people that do care, but it's very hard to find because there's a lot of these certain individuals behind the scenes have their own personal agenda and they're connected to other individuals. I won't go into all that, but I know certain things and I will never talk about it. So, that's what I have to say. I've done my bit. That's what I can do. I know there's another challenge, but spiritually, that's just going to be part of another life. As my late mum would say, life's a challenge. It's what you do with it and how you make use of what you're able to. All prayers and thoughts of those with many of you out there going through so much as well. And reminder for those management director level in your corporations, respect the dignity and human rights. Don't forget about Magna Carta and common law rights, because we have the same as equal rights as able-bodied people out there. And it's about trying to not just make people fit for work when they're generally not, when they're sick and people just feel there's no way out. Absolutely is it's up to the individual to make freedom of choices in their personal situation and to correct support packages and safe, correct choices and assistance. Not do things to somebody like there's a statutory NICE guidance in the care statutory services, how it's meant to be offered and the due process is meant to be used. It's all being cut, all being rushed, and the corners being cut because of this save the public purse. Well, they're spending and wasting the public purse, aren't they, for ordinary people and whatever they may need. And if you are working your hard-earned wages, what is really being, if you don't work, if you don't pay towards state system, they soon come after and take it out of your wages, don't they, automatically, or send their demands to you. That's why I say if you're able to have the ability to learn certain knowledge, then kindly do and try and share what you can. Again, wasting my bloody time and my energy that I don't have, having to do this blinking thing again. But at least that's all I can do on a Friday. And that's it. I'll just switch off now and put some chill out music on and make sure I get something to read, because it does affect your immune system and you get run down. They want you to get stressed out. That you're dealing with a computer system, automated decision making. It's completely bloody disgusting the way it's happening and what's going on. But anyway, at least I know what I know, and what I've done is what I've done, and I've been honourable. I have not used civil servants that keep monitoring what I'm saying and what I'm doing. I have not, and repeat, broken any common law. You can't break statutory codes, acts, statutory regulations, because you don't have my consent to assume that a birth certificate, Crown Corporation owned, is my flesh and blood individual self. There's assumption, presumption, because when you have the knowledge, be extremely conscious and careful and logical if you have the skills to use the knowledge, because some of these individuals newly employed in civil servants and public sector services may not even know what you're talking about. So that's where it's wise to be careful and how we approach certain situations and subjects, and you're just trying to survive, that's all. And when you do know certain things, they don't want others to know. So this channel started off about the weather all those years ago. Then it went on about the housing unlawfully. You see, I know why I'm being targeted and why they're not doing such and such and breaching all these statutory codes and contract law, etc., etc. I know who's doing it all. I've got all this evidence, factual evidence. And, but I won't go there. There's no point. I know my path and journey in life is, I know what's due and what's required and where I shall be going. And, but it won't be, I have evidence and others have information, evidence to hold certain individuals to I think what they call it, I suppose, in karma, what goes around will come around. So let's just see. Those are what they're doing to me, and others similar to I. They'll get their just comments. They will, absolutely shall get it. And it's by karma, you know. If you don't believe in karma, what they say, God forbid, what goes around comes around. My late mum used to say. So I'm always honourable. In the best of one is able to be aware of the labels. These labels, they need labels for their system. Don't get hung up on all these labels I like to create about individuals. Disabilities, just be careful, be aware. You have the intelligence deep inside your mind, body and soul. And it's just very careful how to neutralise it and just be true to yourself. These computerisation of everything now throughout the world, but just especially in what you're trying to do, this subject of these corporations. It's just, you send the evidence off that they are, and you can send your documents off, and then it's just going to go over the head of these civil servants and subcontract companies, because all they've got to do is push a computer button, and the computer scripts are already on their computers. They're not going to take no notice of your lawful documents. They're not going to take no notice of the evidence on the medical records, you know, of what your own medical GP says about you. They're not going to, they never do. The old system used to be more fair, and the lawful process used to be more fair years ago, going back past 2013. Goodness, no wonder what's happening and people are up in arms, and even if they don't know certain subjects like I and thousands of others like I. So I just stick to the basics.